Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm here, Gerry. Nice to see you. Here's Max and Edward. They are also here, and it is nice for them to see you too. See how see my bizarre wording there, the way I just made it awkward unintentionally?
Mixing it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Huddersfield. Edward, you were there.
Indeed, I was.
All right. So, yeah, give us the lowdown. What's going on?
I personally think it was the first points this season that we've actually deserved, like away from home as well, which just like, I think the attitude, the game plan was right for what we needed it to be as well. Like it was defensive and then we hit them on the counter attack, which a lot of fans didn't agree with. There was still some boos, obviously, some still F off Sam Allardyce chants, but I mean, you can't please everyone, and I think it was in the, as Sam would say, in the minority for a change, and you know, everyone got behind the team when they actually put in the effort, and obviously you still had the boos for the substitutions, but I actually think he got them right. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Max, do you have anything to say, or were you able to go back and watch a little bit?
Well, I've watched the highlights. Obviously, I watched the highlights on the Everton app, so obviously you get a bit of an Everton spin on things, don't you? You know, they make out so. I think something that surprised me was I think Darren Griffiths was coming out. I think it's 1 loss in 6, or we haven't been beaten our last 6, which really doesn't feel like that at all.
Not at all.
So I really don't know why that statistic's even in use.
Well, sorry. I was just going to interject. He's been nominated for Manager of the Month, hasn't he? Because of...
He has. He won't shut up about that for a while, I'd imagine, as well. But I think, yeah, when I watch the highlights, because I also watched them on Match of the Day as well, I love watching Everton when they play on the counter attack. I'll always use the example of Wolfsburg away when we were as being, you know, an absolute masterclass in Everton playing on the counter attack, and but in terms of Huddersfield, I think it was that toast. Both of the goals were really pleasing for me. I think this season, I mean, particularly over the last few months since Allardyce has come in, it's really been hard to get beyond all the negativity that surrounded the club. But to see, you know, Tosin, who's obviously going to be in the long term going to be our star striker, getting a goal again, it was a lovely finish. So again, that believes I've got faith in him to carry on that type of form, and hope he emulates them types of finishes continually. And as well, a player who's not known so much to be grabbing goals, a player who I really do love, Idrissa Gueye.
Oh,
it was nice to see one of his strikes from distance actually go in for a change, and
that was
because he's so optimistic with those, isn't he? He has no problem pounding those from deep, and it usually squirts off to the sideline.
I love that little touch that Baines had as well. Umar obviously put in a great cross, and Baines with that lovely, lovely little touch just to let go and just go.
Yeah. I think since honest to God, it sounds like I repeat myself every single time, but since Baines and Coleman have come back, it really gives me confidence that there is something in place going forward that hope will touch wood. A new manager does come in that a new manager can work with. You know what I mean? So it seems like, you know, the go-to is to be going down the flanks and to be working the ball into whoever's going to get into it in the middle, which I think a lot of the top sides do as well. I think I hate to use them as an example. Liverpool do it a lot. Man City do it a lot, Chelsea do it a lot, and I think that tends to be the style that a lot of sides are trying to emulate, and if it's the style that we're going to try and replicate going forward, then I'm all for it.
So yeah, I'll just throw it out there. I wasn't entirely angry the entire time watching, which is different, you know, which is nice. I only got to watch about 60 minutes of the game. Then I had to pause it because I was having to watch it with the NBC Gold stream. So I had to pause it, go to my kid's baseball game, which was so stressful, believe it or not. And then I come back and unpause it and watch it while my kids are taking naps. Okay? And so I had to do it like that. And it was, so we had a 1-0 lead during that time, so I wasn't in the worst mood from that. And then I come back and I get to see another goal, which is cool. It was weird. Everton actually made me feel better Saturday. Yeah. Not really the case this season that much,
I think what was great to see is when Gay scored, all the players looked genuinely delighted, and for the first time this season, they actually looked like a team.
Yeah. And do you know what? Actually, as well,
that wanted to work for each other. Go on, mate.
Yeah. I've been his biggest critic all season. Morgan Schneiderlin was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic in that game.
I am worried about Schneiderlin's intentions as far as this recent push of form.
Yeah, so was I.
I'm glad he's doing it, but I think he is putting himself in the shop window. I think he's requested a transfer away, and he wants, you know what I mean? Like, I seriously see it. Now, has he played better? Yeah, but it's like night and day. And and his attitude was awful before, and it could be just the team's feeling stronger and he's wanting to play better. That's possible. But you see rumors on Twitter that he's requested a move abroad and that kind of stuff. And I believe it.
I saw he did an interview with Ian in France, and he said, obviously he's been at Southampton, he's been at Man United, and now he's at us. I think he's pretty much said that he's, if he was going to get a move away, then he's going to look abroad, and because I think he's pretty much been there and done that in terms of the Premier League. But in terms, depending on the price, really, because I think, I'll continue to back it up. I do feel like whenever are at the best, Morgan Schneiderlin's in the side, but I wouldn't be too heartbroken to see him go, depending on what fee we bring him for him, because if we bring in a centre midfielder that got a bit more energy, and because it's just not his style of play. He's not an energetic type of player. Obviously, he'll recover balls when he loses them, and he's more of a. It's more his position more than anything, and his positional awareness and his reading of the game before it actually happens. I think that's where his area of his specialty lie. But in terms of the Premier League, and if you look at the top side, your midfielders need to be physically strong, quick, and powerful. And if he does leave and we get someone in of those abilities, then I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have to say, I think Schneiderlin is best, like you say, his defensive side, because whenever we go defensive, he's normally one of the better performers in the side. Well, and obviously he has the heart to do it, but I don't know. I'd like some of the. I think he apart from Coleman, I think he got the highest percentage in passing on Saturday, and it was just all he looked happy to be in the side. Especially because wasn't it Garner that he was the first player to run over and celebrate with?
Yeah,
wasn't even his best buddy. But I think a lot of us were discontented at the start of it because we were very defensive, giving away the ball a lot to Huddersfield, and they could have had a penalty, but I don't think it was. And they just had a lot more opportunities. But I think as soon as we got that goal, then we sort of got into the game more, because then Huddersfield had to throw people forward as well.
Yeah, I genuinely do not think that was a penalty. Yeah, I watched replays, several replays, and it's one of the few times I actually agreed with the commentator that day. This guy was awful. But basically, anytime anyone fell, he was accusing them of diving. Okay.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, I don't think he dove necessarily, but I don't think it was enough contact to merit actually giving them a spot kick. I just think that's ridiculous. A PK. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really strange when incidents like that happen now, because obviously with the players and the way they can get booked for simulation. Obviously, if a player goes down in the box and the ref waves it away, there's always kind of the controversy and the confusion over whether or not the player should be booked for simulation. And that was something I think when I was watching the highlights back, that was something that got brought up by the commentator. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I don't think it was a penalty myself.
Yeah, I always find it interesting as someone who, when I played football, I lost my balance often on like long runs. You know, somebody bumps you. You know, I'm not the biggest guy, so sometimes you go flying, and it just happens like that. Sometimes you initiate the contact, and sometimes they do. You don't see them coming. But you lose balance sometimes, and it's not a flop. It's not a dive. You just fall. It happens. You know, and that's what. But I think it's when you see that, and I think the guy just fell. I didn't see it was a dive. I also didn't think it was much contact either. But
I think Huddersfield fans have said that he's the guy that went down. I think is known for like going down very soft as well. So I think maybe the ref took that into consideration as well. But from the angle I saw it, Vlasic just literally, like you say, put him off balance, but didn't foul him. There's no intent in a sense.
Yeah. All right. So just throwing it out there, some other people who did well. Tosin's goal was assassin-like. You know, he had one good chance, and he absolutely put it. You could not put that. You could not place it any closer to the post without it actually hitting the inside of the post and bouncing in. It was perfect. It was ridiculous, and he took the one opportunity, and that is what we've been missing. We've had kids that get opportunities but squander them. And Tosin gets one chance, and he nails it, and you're like, where is that coming from? What is that? I've never seen it.
Yeah.
You know? It was awesome.
Turkish delight.
Yeah, it was great to see, and hopefully this is the start of, you know, obviously at the start, you know, there was a lot of, not so much controversy, but confusion over whether he was physically ready for the Premier League, and now I think, you know, you're seeing him being a lot more clinical, taking his chances, and
going in for the tackles.
Hopefully this is the start of him finding consistency so he can be a constant threat up top.
Did you see him show that little bit of skill in the corner that time? He had his back to like two players, and he did some move and split them and got through. And
yeah,
I didn't know he could. I mean, these players are all skilled, but I didn't see him doing that in that instance. I was like, what? Because for Tosin, it's like a one-touch goal, you know, or he touches and then he places it, and that little bit of skill, I was just I gathered the family around and said, watch this. It was awesome.
Look at this marvelous Turkish beauty.
Yeah, man, that's a starting striker. I'm glad with that. You know, I'm so fine with that. So
I'll actually raise a quick question. Walcott, better on the left or better on the right?
For me, it depends on the matchup. Who's he playing against?
The right. I really do like him with Coleman behind him. I feel like they've both, their abilities complement each other so well. I think both of them have the ability to put fear into any fullback that they come up against, and I feel like and again, if we're gonna, you know, lean on the going out wide and working the ball down the flanks, I think you can't go wrong with that combination.
No.
The reason I like him on the right is because he's right-footed, and he has more ability to be able to get across to Tosin to actually contribute in a different way. For Walcott, though, the way I always see him is slicing and cutting in. You don't see him going to the inline often. Usually what's happening is he's combining with Coleman, and Coleman is the one who hits to the side, or Baines, depending on the side. I just think he normally plays right. I just feel like that's where he normally is, and I think that's where we'll probably start seeing him. Just depends on who's he paired with. We don't have a lot of wingers. We've got Vlasic playing winger, by the way, and he did not give the ball away that often. He just didn't necessarily dazzle. You know what I mean?
Like, that was his first competitive start since January.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. But at the same time, I still don't think that's his position. But I was psyched he wasn't giving the ball away, because that's the thing that Bolasie was doing that we had such a problem with. You know, he was combining well with our players, and he was actually holding up play. I liked that. He's just not deadly running down the flank. He's just not, because he's not fast enough
yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he's like fully recovered. I'd like to say give him till the end of the season and see what he's like in training next season. Just because he's still, in a way, recovering. Because I don't think he knows his best position at the minute. Because I also just want to say a quick thing on Bolasie, because for him, I think football we normally go with defensively. Everyone else is sat back, so he has. I guess in his mind he has to think he's got to do all these skills to get past all these players because there's no one else going to help him because everyone else is sat back. But you see him then when everyone's going forward, he's able to just run with the ball because everyone else is getting distracted, and he puts in good crosses like he did when Lukaku was here, like he did against Newcastle. You know, he can create goals and he can be a good player. He just needs to fit in a good system, not like one with Allardyce, unless we attack.
I think he's forcing it too much. He feels too much pressure to create from the flank, and I still don't think he has the same explosiveness as he did before the injury. And it's just going to have to gradually get there. Again, we talked about it before. We like the guy. He's just giving the ball away too damn much, and it's just the way it is. I want to see Vlasic play center attacking mid, though. I want to see him play in that position. That way that he doesn't need that all-out speed that a Walcott has on the wing. You know what I mean? He can actually distribute and combine and utilize the ability to not give the ball away. You know?
Yeah.
And I thought he had a sure goal first half. No, it was second half. Second half. He had one I thought that was definitely going to be in. I got really excited for him. And then it didn't happen. So a lot of people were slagging him off, though. So I don't know. I thought it could have gone a lot worse for Vlasic. So somebody also just bring it up. Nias's hard work created that second goal. That's a thing. It did happen. We need to mention that. Somebody who didn't play well, I again have to point to Rooney. You know, he's giving the ball away a lot still, which is something that I think he should. I mean, I feel like there was one run. I think it was Walcott. Someone was cutting down the left. I think it was Walcott, and he was trying to feed them a through ball, and they would have put them through, and it went right to the defender.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there thinking, Wayne Rooney, you're better than that because you're Wayne damn Rooney. You know what I mean? And he's smarter than that. He's a good passer. But I worry he's just tired at the end of the season. He's you know what I mean? There's a lot of mileage on those legs. End of the season, it's just like that. So
I agree.
I wouldn't be playing him every game, or at least not starting him every game.
No, I think he's more a game changer. I think he's a lot like Nias in a sense as well. An impact player, someone who can change a game. But
I would say yes and no. I see what you're going with that.
It just depends on the team
Always.
they play against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously, Gerry made the point in the last time we recorded, and it's very, very true. I feel after the whole debacle over the bust up he had with Allardyce at the derby, I felt Allardyce was pretty much felt compelled to play him almost, and I feel like if you're in a situation where you're playing, if you feel compelled to start Wayne Rooney, I think that's never a good thing, because I think what I thought the initial plan was bringing him in was obviously there's going to be some sort of rotation system that's in place.
Yeah.
And now it just seems like we're burning him out completely. And as you say, it's just the wrong time to be burning him out, because he's towards the end of the season anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see what his future's got in hold, because obviously there's talk of him of moving away.
There's a lot of talk right now. Right now is
which you can find out on the Toffee Blues on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a new rumor every hour, and it usually involves somebody new every time. So
hey,
guys, I've got some 3-word Twitter reactions. The Toffee Blues, speaking of. Their Twitter account, Instagram account, and the Facebook account asked for 3-word Twitter reactions. All right? I just took some that I thought didn't necessarily involve Allardyce. There's only one that involves Allardyce, but it's worth it. Just saying. So the first one from Twitter, Ollie Loftus says, "I love Cenk." Yes, we do.
I think everyone does.
All right. From Instagram, Jonathan Kasolu says, "Turkish Harry Kane."
Hey,
that works for me as
like
well.
We can hope so.
Also from Instagram, Allison Kearns says, "Job done." Okay, because I sort of feel like that's the way we feel after these wins. Now we're like, yeah. Okay,
Nothing to play for. So
we won. Okay. Paul Underwood from Facebook says, good 3 points. And lastly, Jeff Kate, all right, says, and this is 3 words, Sam has improved us. He smushed them together. Yeah, I just like the creativity. All right, that's the only reason I put that. So don't call me Sam Lover. All right, don't do it, because I see Max is doing the I disagree with you face. All right, which is always this, by the way. It's
no, I don't disagree. I feel like he's definitely put a defensive system in place that I feel like we can build upon moving forward.
Yeah.
It's just really pissed me off, the fact that he hasn't felt it upon himself to push us forward while he's in here.
I thought
Grab the chance.
I thought somebody made a really good observation on Twitter, basically saying it's almost like if the club and Allardyce had said, look, he's probably going to be gone at the end of the season. If we stated that a while back, right now we'd be sort of rooting for him. He'd be like an underdog. You know what I mean? It'd be like, hey, he's going to be gone soon. He's doing his job. You know? Good job. You know what I mean? If he had approached it differently, if the club had approached it differently, this would have been seen differently, I think. And we would. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be grumbling usually anyway in some way, because that's what we're
miserable buggers.
Yeah, but I just think we'd be seeing this differently, and it just seems like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all we have for the Huddersfield reaction. And once again, it's sort of like this. Meh. So, caption contest. We are going to be gathering all the best captions from the last one, and we'll gather our favorites from this one, and we'll do a segment at the end of the season. Put them all together and do our favorite ones. All right? This week, here's the picture. There it is. You're seeing it. We're not, but you're seeing it. So for Edward and for Max, it's Schneiderlin from the previous Newcastle match, and he's going like this. He's bewildered by something the referee has done or said. So say what you want, people. We are curious to think what you make of that. And again, we'll pull our favorites and do it in a segment.
When Allardyce gets nominated for Manager of the Month.
We're pretending that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Just whatever. So I guess that's it for our Huddersfield reaction. Please, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We just hit 700 subscribers today, so thank you very much. That was awesome. Give a like, give a comment, all that stuff. Check out Edward's YouTube channel, which just hit 500 subs. Congratulations. Check out his stuff. Check out Max's work on the Toffee Blues website, where there's lots of analysis. And I have no more plugging, and I'm done. Yeah. So anyway, on to the next video. Bye.